All right. Welcome to another episode of How I Met Your Mortgage. As always, I'm your host, Adam Smith, with Just the Tips Coaching. And you guys will have to forgive me, there was just something really funny going on before we went live. So I'm all grins and giggles for the moment. I'll temper that, I promise. In any case, another episode. This is number 28 for us this year, our 9th year of doing the podcast. And our guest today is no stranger to the show or to what I do in my day to day, and certainly what we've come to learn and live and hopefully love about being in the mortgage space. So, welcome back to the show, Stephanie Ham. Hi, Stephanie.
Hi.
How
Good
are
to
you?
see you. Good. How are you?
We did actually get to see each other from time to time, face to face. And then I guess COVID?
In the good old days.
In the good old days? Yeah, it seems like it. And then I don't know. It's just, we certainly live in a very different world than we did a decade ago, particularly in the mortgage space. No question about that. But yeah, Steph, give us a little background. You're you're a mortgage originator in what I would refer to as Central California, but that's after a stint of living outside of Redding, which is Northern California. I know the rest of the world calls your part of the world Northern California, but yeah, give us a little bit of background, since there may be people who haven't seen you on a previous episode or know who. Really, is there anybody that doesn't know who Stephanie is on this planet?
I'm sure we could find a handful.
They're a handful. Well, for their benefit, tell us about Stephanie.
You don't follow mortgage people, probably. So yeah, Northern California is what we call ourselves, but really we're Bay Area. And so Solano County is where I reside, Vacaville specifically these days. And that's where my office is these days. I used to live in Fairfield and work there, so people know me from all over the place. But we are the most affordable Bay Area county, just between Sacramento and San Francisco. And we're only about 30 minutes from Napa, 2.5 hours from Tahoe. So we fancy ourselves as Northern California when compared to LA, San Diego. But yeah, way north, Redding. That's north.
Like almost Oregon.
Yeah, my in-laws actually just sold their house up at Lake Shastina, but technically that's Weed, California. So very familiar with the northern tip of the state. Yes.
Okay.
They're actually moving to Rio Vista out here in Solano County.
In Solano County. Okay. And that's the other piece of it, is that we actually used to do quite a bit of mortgage conference work in Vacaville.
Mm-hmm.
And in the Bay Area in general. And there have been a few other instances where I've had cause to be out there. And yeah, I don't know. It just kind of dried up, I guess. But yeah, I can say that I haven't been to Vacaville in a long, long time. But yeah, for those of you not in the know, yeah, this is a part of the world pretty much right in between San Fran and Sacramento. And obviously both amazing places. And you know what? A big part of it is that our friends, our good friends, Lindsay and Brady, moved back to Iowa.
Yeah.
From Folsom. So yeah, there wasn't, that's another, tick box that there's not a reason to go out there for that. And yeah, they're now in the booming metropolis of Burlington, Iowa, or whatever the hell that is. I know.
I'm sure it's a lovely spot. My father's from a tiny town called Macomb, Illinois. And you can fly into Chicago or St. Louis, then you must drive through soy and corn for hours. And then you get to Macomb, and it's just a lovely, lovely little tiny spot with a square, in the downtown, and you can just walk everywhere once you get off the rural route, but I love the slower pace of life. I often fantasized about selling it all and buying the whole town out there, but haven't done it yet.
That day is coming. You can tell.
Where I can just have my chickens,
Oh, wow. Now, Brady, I hope you're watching or listening, because obviously Brady's a huge chicken fan now. And yeah, that's really, really funny. I don't know if they were doing any of that in California. I don't think they went chicken crazy until Iowa. But yeah, chickens is an interesting subject as well. We talked a lot before we went live about solar and how that impacts the mortgage space. And we talked about how the weather is impacting, well, all kinds of things in the real estate space, particularly the cost. And you were kind enough to share what you'd be staring down the barrel of when it comes to an electric bill in California. Thank you, PG&E. And how we thought our power bills here were insane. And in comparison, yeah, not even close. Yeah, that's absolute Looney Tunes. And it's funny because we do actually a video blog for our clients exclusively with some homeowners tips. And it used to be very tongue-in-cheek, like, Adam's not really all that good at swinging a hammer. You know, it's home improvement projects just aren't my jam. And I started that video series, and we've done a lot of them, probably getting close to 100, where it was like, hey, here's something I screwed up in a home repair or home improvement project. So you don't have to screw it up. Learn from my mistakes, kind of a scared straight program. And the last one I did, in fact, it's probably on distribution now, was exactly what you and I were talking about, how to combat the heat, how to take advantage of that whole house fan, that attic fan, and to run that thing right before you go to bed and again in the morning, and then seal it up and keep the house cool so that the air conditioner doesn't have to kick on until later in the day. But it's been so hot here that the coolest it gets at night is still higher than the damn thermostat is set.
Right.
So yeah, it's just been nonstop with the air conditioning, and obviously we're not alone. There's been a lot of ridiculously hot weather coast to coast, and be glad you're not in Iowa or Illinois or somewhere where the humidity compounds that problem dramatically.
Yeah, dry heat is where it's at. That's it.
Yeah, I'll take my high desert. Absolutely, I'll gladly stay put. If we're talking strictly about climate, if we're going to throw chickens in the mix, well, then all bets are off.
California is very supportive of chickens. You can have them in the backyard. A lot of people do because they get the fresh eggs, and so they could have had chickens out here. And of course, we can grow everything almost year round. So I do a fair amount of gardening in my zone 9 climate, but we haven't chickens. No.
Okay.
That's too much work.
All right. Well, let's talk about work.
Yeah.
Because I think that's a big piece of the puzzle. And I know the last time you were on the show, we talked about some of these things and where the business comes from and what your repeat and referral business looks like, so on and so forth. Although one of the things that you've had experience with, and I really have none, and for those of you that haven't followed this, I started my career as a mortgage broker, I don't know, a long time ago. Let's just put it that way. I'm going to date myself pretty dramatically here. And worked for a company for a number of years before starting my own brokerage, which was in 2005. It's been more than 21 years. So I've been a mortgage broker and I've been a wholesale broker owner, but I don't know any other model. And you've seen all sides of it, including what I think might be another coming or recent change for you.
No, I haven't changed anything.
Okay.
But yeah, no, I started as a mortgage broker, and I'm currently a mortgage broker. And in between, the brokerage I worked for bought a bank and became a banking model in the 2012 era, when being a broker was a nasty word, and we were in the middle of the foreclosure crisis, and the agents that were listing the bulk of the foreclosures for the banks, they wanted to know if the buyer's money was coming from a direct lender, because they didn't want money from a broker. So we bought a little bank in Santa Rosa, and we became a direct lender at that point. And then in 2016, they grew the business. This was held by three guys privately. They grew the business and sold it to Caliber Home Loans. And then my management team and my colleagues pretty much stayed intact. Some people at that point were like, oh no, we don't know Caliber, it's too big, we're going to go back to the broker model. So I did have friends, kind of a few of them leave at that point, but my office was pretty much intact. And then we worked as Caliber Home Loans until NewRez purchased Caliber Home Loans in 2021. And then we worked there pretty seamlessly and without much tinkering, because they didn't have a retail arm at NewRez. So they sort of were figuring out, they thought that was the missing piece to their puzzle. So they bought us. Turns out in 2022, that became a very scary proposition to have a retail arm with a bunch of leases and the expenses that come with that, management, all the layers of the cake. And then they said, never mind, I don't think we really want this or need this. And they took a little axe to our area of Northern California and started cutting branches and everything. So it was kind of in tatters by August of 22. And I decided, I better jump back into the brokerage model, because I don't know what is going on with these people and if they, how much trouble they're in and what that'll do to my margins, and rates are on their way up. So I better get control and make sure I have the sharpest knife in the drawer, for the next few years. So that's what forced me back into the broker channel. I'm a creature of habit. Change isn't my favorite thing, but it's
human.
Yeah, it's a better place than where we left it. The technology's improved. Some of the lenders have embraced it, some have not.
Agreed.
The origination software is much better. We run Arrive, and that was one of my actual requests of the brokerage I chose was, hey, you guys are still running Point. That's where I started my career in 2004.
Right. And it's still the same, I promise.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
It hasn't changed.
Pretty dialed into the community, and I'm pretty sure that's not going to work for me.
And as antiquated as it is, I think it's still the gold standard. I think it's still the vast majority of LOS work.
That's
which
sad.
is
That's
and
sad.
you can still look at it. It's so funny because I still find the old installation books and CDs that they would ship you for upgrades and for new coding, that kind of thing. And it really hasn't changed. And you can still look at it and tell that it's basically a Windows overlay on a DOS program, which is absolutely wild. And of course, that was still light years ahead of what we deal with on the reverse side. Talk about an antiquated piece of software. The reverse mortgage LOSs are, well, they leave a little something to be desired. We'll put it that way. But yeah, technology is certainly a big one. Before we get too far down the road, Kevin, hey, good afternoon from Lakeland, Florida. Good afternoon to you, Kevin, although it's about 10:30 in the morning in the mountain time zone. Yes, that is a real thing. And it's about 9:30 in the morning in the Pacific time zone where Stephanie is, but cool how the world turns. Thanks for tuning in. So let's talk about the tech stuff, because I think this is really big these days. And I do think that it's important is certainly an underestimation of getting a hold of what technology is going on in the mortgage space right now and using it to further your game. There are a couple of things I really like that we've done. One is a system we wrote to basically trigger potential work with past clients. So does it make sense for them to refinance? And I don't have to analyze it. The data is all available out there, right? As far as what rates are doing, what values are doing, what their mortgage balance is, what their interest rate is, these kinds of things. So that system can kind of just keep churning and churning and churning data. It even can include previous credit report data.
Nice.
Hey, did you have your car loan in there and it should be paid off now, dropping your DTI or those kinds of things.
That's pretty sophisticated.
And it's not 100% accurate. I'll certainly say that.
Nothing
it is giving me, a notification, essentially a flag, when it says, hey, this is somebody that could probably use a little help with their financial structure, making improvements along what will be long-term. helping them reel retirement in a little closer, or getting the house paid off faster, or whatever their goals happen to be in that particular sense. The other one, and we're not quite done, this was a lot more than we really thought we were digging into, is a refinance model. Sorry, not everybody's going to understand all of the lingo and jargon, anagrams, where a client can actually structure their own refinance. Here's what rates are doing, right? I mean, it's, like Sifter, the data's there, so no big deal. Here's what your debt load is. You can toggle on and off which ones you might want to pay off, see what that's going to do to your debt to income ratio, see what that's going to do to your monthly savings. And they can basically, if we can get some of the finer details done, they'll basically be able to structure their own refinance.
Yeah, that's cool.
And then send it to me and say, hey, does this make sense? Is there anything else you would recommend? And then I can review what I would do versus what they think they want to do.
Yeah.
And we can collaborate on what those changes might look like before pushing it through to processing and underwriting. We're working on a couple of really cool AI systems in that sense. Obviously, there's a ton of ideas when it comes to lead gen, client retention, those kinds of things. Are you guys adopting anything unique that our audience would love?
Oh gosh, I am a creature of habit, so I just routinely stay in touch with my past clients.
Of course.
And so on my schedule every single day is always past client follow-up, whether it's a 30-day check-in, a 3-year check-in. It's just, that's literally part of every calendar. So that in and of itself keeps me busy. And then just, maintaining my realtor relationships and staying active in my community in various ways, and social media. So that's all we're doing, and it's working. I guess everyone's in HomeBot. We do have post-close drip things, all the normal touch points. But then I think the actual human reach out is important because everyone's desensitized to auto emails and texts and stuff like that now, right? They're like, stop, delete,
and even social media and video. And of course, the big problem with a lot of this is you don't even know if it's real.
Correct. In fact, my favorite technology is my AI girl. And so my videos I push the button with generated by AI. Yes. So I just have my gal, my image, and you put her script in. It's my voice. Sometimes it sounds more like me than in others, but it is my voice. I recorded it and tried to spend hours on it, right? So for me, it's just perfect to do it in one take, right? Like, this is what I want to say, and this is how I want to say it. And so if I put the script in and I do this and I click the button and I'm like, put me in an office or put me on the island or whatever, and it just does it. It's amazing. I can't believe that this is the day we're in. But now you can record videos very, very quickly to say exactly what you want. You don't have to edit them, which was my biggest thing, because I am a lone technician, but I am not an editor, right?
Agreed.
And it's not something I enjoy doing. And if I don't enjoy doing something, I'm not going to do it. It's just how my nature is. So
see, on the flip side, I do enjoy it.
Right.
And a lot of that probably stemmed from some of that work we did together in Vacaville.
Vaca, if you're from here,
Vaca.
But yeah.
Okay. That's some real Spanglish there. Cool.
Vacaville.
So a lot of the work that we did in Vacaville was probably what stemmed that love of the video, the chroma key, the editing. And I did it for years. And of course, one of the things that I think is really important here for all of you that are doing good video work, and if you're still in an arena where you're doing a lot of the actual work, I'm not just talking about standing up and talking in front of the camera, but the editing, the distribution, all of this, you don't get paid for that. You get paid to close loans, or you get paid to close transactions if you're a real estate agent, whatever the case may be. You are not getting paid as a video editor.
No.
And neither am I. Neither was I. And I would literally get up real early, typically Saturday morning, do the editing on our weekly video blog, the Weekly Little Tip. And we've been running that for, gosh, I don't know, How long ago did we start that work in Vacaville? 15 years?
Yeah, I think it was 2017.
Okay.
So, or 2016. I mean, so 10 years at least.
At least. And I know I had been doing it sometime before that, and people on my team would be able to tell me, but it was the people on my team who said, why are you still doing this? There are VA options to do the editing. There are Fiverr options.
He means virtual assistant, in case VA doesn't resonate with your audience.
Our audience knows. There are AI options to do the editing, and you're spending, I mean, a really good video editing on a fairly simple level was probably an hour for every 60 seconds of finished product.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm probably spending 2.5, 3 hours once a week editing videos that now I think I probably have $1 spend of 20 or 25 bucks to have a perfect canned polished product. But it took them years to convince me to stop doing it. And I'm someone who liked doing it.
Yeah.
For you, that's a no-brainer, right?
Yeah.
You guys have all got to get to, you guys have all got to get to a point where you're only doing things that you like or pay you really well, high dollar activity. If you don't like doing it, or it's not high dollar activity, you got to figure out how to get that off your plate so that you can do the things that you do like, that do generate, right? That's kind of the heart of being a loan originator, is to originate the loan. Okay. So it took them a long time to convince me to do it. And of course, one of the oldest coaches, and certainly one of my first ones, Carl White, had this formula that said, if somebody can do it 80% as well as you, let them do it. And it came out 80% as good the first few times. And then it obviously got better and better and better. So yeah, I think that it's really important for people to understand, and we do make our clients run through a pretty vigorous exercise of figuring out all the shit they do during the day, week, month, so that deals close, so that loans or real estate transactions close. And then figure out which of those activities is high dollar and which ones you could slough off to somebody else. And it's mind-boggling when they jump through those hoops. We even make them run it with a chess clock. When you're when you're doing low dollar activity, run one side of the clock. When you're doing high dollar activity, run the other side. And people are spending 80% of their time doing $20 an hour work, and only spending 20% of their time doing the $200 an hour work.
It's really easy for people to fall into it. And a lot of times it's because they enjoy doing the different work, right? So,
okay. That's because we're a population of people with a form of ADD or ADHD,
right?
And we do like bopping around, which I don't think is a bad thing. I think if you're in the mortgage or real estate space and you happen to have an affliction that makes it a little more difficult to focus versus a lot of other adults, then by all means, great. You lose focus on a project, move to another one, and come back to it. That kind of thing. I don't have a problem with that, but I do have a problem with people spending the majority of their working time doing work that isn't really profitable, that isn't furthering their business, that isn't helping them grow a team, that isn't getting them to at least a step in the staircase of things you would need to be able to do in order to build a business that you can eventually walk away from while it still pays you.
Yeah.
And that first one of getting to, the first one, and you're a master at this, getting to a point where your business is only repeat and referral, hopefully mostly repeat clients and client referrals. We certainly don't want to be 100% reliant on somebody else doing their lead gen work. That's a big one.
Right.
And you and I know people that, 70% of their business was coming from a single real estate team that disbanded, went away. I couldn't handle a 70% hit to my business.
No, you need 50 feeders, at all times.
Well, we diversify.
Yeah.
Just like in every good environment. No question about it. So that's a big step to get to. That next one of making sure that you're only doing things that you either love to do or are high dollar activity is an important one. And if you can't reach that second plateau, then you're never going to get to a point where you're building a business. you actually have a job. You don't get up in the morning and do your job. There is nothing. There's no business. So yeah, I have a lot of people that certainly a ton that we've worked with and some we work with now that are business owners. It's a very loose definition. And I ask every one of them, what happens if you stop doing this work? Yeah, there might be some business trickling in over the next year or 2 or 3, or maybe it's only months, maybe it's only weeks, depending on how you do your business. If you're focusing solely on Zillow leads and you stop chasing them tomorrow morning, then yeah, that could be a much shorter time frame. But if you're really in the space where you want to build a business that you can eventually walk away from while it still pays you, you've got to master these things. And
and AI has taken a lot of the marketing, which is, it's important, it's required, but thank God. And now you just type in your GPT and it pops a new flyer open. You can go to your meeting and distribute it to everyone, throw it in your email newsletter.
Yeah. Okay. And that answers another question. So Steph's a big ChatGPT user.
Oh yeah.
Okay. I'm more about Gemini, but I'm a grown-up, so I don't have an Apple anything. I'm guessing you're running an Apple OS on everything.
No. I'm a Windows girl.
And
the only thing Apple is a phone. Yes. Well, that's because my husband required it. Androids take better photos. I tried to get an Android. I got one. And he said, this isn't fair. All of our photos and videos are going to one place and you're going to come in and do something different. So for the sake of marital peace, I put that phone down and I have an iPhone.
Well, that is a much bigger deal than what are we having for dinner?
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you want? Okay, so I do think that that's important. And while we're on the subject, what other AI tools are you embracing?
No, that's about it. So my ChatGPT and my AI video maker, those are my big heavy lifters. We have automations, right? We have Zapier sending data around, and we have, milestone videos and all that stuff. That's kind of old news, but yeah, that's the only thing I'm really using. Can't think of anything else. People I'm sure are using it better and faster, but I'm just waiting. Some of our wholesalers are using it, but when you upload a document to it, it's not quite right. So I don't use that yet. I mean, I try, but it's like not helpful to calculate things incorrectly. So
no, that's not helpful.
So that's not there yet. I use Arrive Origination software. They're piloting a lot of AI tools. So I can't wait to see what's coming next, but it's not there yet. And, even GPT, you can't ask it. You can ask it all the questions you want to, but it's going to give you inaccurate answers sometimes. So you have to still be in charge of it and understand that it's wrong and go reference and do things like that. But what I love it for is answering questions that I don't want to answer in the tone that I should answer them in. So I just, I use that tool pretty frequently to write much more professional emails than I'd like to. So it's like my assistant.
Okay, and that's, I think the exact terminology is that you need to treat it like your assistant, not the other way around.
Right.
And that's a very big deal. And I mean, it's even been a few years now, I'm guessing, but there was a relatively high profile federal case that happened to play out here in the federal court in Denver, the MyPillow guy.
Yes.
I don't know how big the MyPillow guy is, and I don't have a MyPillow guy.
Mike Lindell is his name.
Oh, thank you, Mike Lindell. And Mike's attorneys wrote some briefs using AI, and they kind of became AI's assistant, not the other way around. And the judge caught it. The judge caught that his lawyers had written briefs in AI and didn't proof them.
Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah, so there is still, and in our space, and don't get me wrong, I don't think that this is appropriate. And I know that the biggest combat for that, I think right now, is actually the kids that are students. I think high school teachers and college professors are probably having a difficult time making sure that the kids are actually not necessarily doing the work, but learning. And that's what we really want to get across in schools, that they're learning. And I know that that's a big deal. When it comes to what you and I do, I think there are a lot of cautions because we deal in such sensitive personal financial information. And I can't remember who it was, although I do remember somebody in our circle sharing some content that somebody had put on the internet about the fact that they had hired a VA. This isn't even stretching into AI yet, that they had hired a VA overseas to do some work in a highly sensitive personal financial information space. And that VA went and opened up a bunch of lines of credit in borrowers' names.
Yeah,
Right?
I mean, that is totally possible.
You're done. You're out of business if you do that shit. If you let your client's personal financial information escape your clutches to the point where somebody can commit that kind of credit fraud or identity theft, that's a problem. And we've got to be really cognizant of not letting AI do that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. When I used VAs to make open house finance flyers years ago, I had a different computer. Like they could only go into one computer that had nothing on it at all. Oh, the FedEx guy wants me to sign something.
Well, the good news there is that we have already run over our time.
Okay.
So, yeah, give your FedEx guy the hang on. I'll be out there in 1 minute. Yeah, I'll be right there.
1 second.
And we'll find a way to bring this to a conclusion of some sort. But yeah, let's definitely get another episode on the books.
Okay.
And we'll delve deeper into this. Obviously, our cycle's probably 6 to 12 months. So who the hell knows what'll develop between now and then anyway, in the mortgage space and the AI space, etc. But thank you, as always, for carving out this kind of time. And for the rest of you watching or listening live or in syndication, you can catch new episodes of How I Met Your Mortgage at 9:30 Pacific, 12:30 Eastern on Mondays on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. And the podcast on Wednesdays on Amazon, Apple, and Spotify. And for all the things, JTT, our annual conference, the weekly blog, the little tip, the episodes of the podcast, copies of the books I've written, whatever the hell you want to find out, go check out justthetipscoaching.com and you'll find that stuff. Stephanie, go catch the FedEx guy.
Thank you.
For the rest of you, thanks for tuning in. And we'll see you next week with another episode of How I Met Your Mortgage. Later.